if we think about time, there are a couple ways that you can think about expressing time. So time can be represented as a particular point in history. And then time can also be considered a span of time. And then we could also consider time that we say an action might take place within a certain amount of time. Right? In Latin, each of these expressions, the point in time, the span of time within which something might happen or is going to happen, and then the duration of time, are all constructed slightly differently. The first of these is the ablative of time when. So this is going to be that point in time. Illo tempora, at that time. Prima ora, these are ablatives. At the first hour. Or aetate, in summer. What you should notice is there is no preposition. Right? No preposition with time expressions. Right? Although in English, at that time, at the first hour, in summer, we supply a preposition. In Latin, there is none. It's just the ablative all by itself. So that's the point in time, the ablative of time when. There's also the ablative of time within which. This is that span of time within which a certain action is going to happen. So again, it's sort of like expanding that point into a broader, a longer span of time. So duabis oris, within 2 hours, or quinque annis, within 5 years, or paucis diebus, within a few days. In English, we have to use that within, ex, the preposition within. In Latin, again, no preposition. And perhaps the easiest way to distinguish these, the ablative of time within which and the ablative of time when, is that the ablative of time when generally will be singular at the first hour, in summer, on the 4th day, and the ablative of time within which is going to be plural, within 2 hours. Right? You can't say on the 2 hours, or in the 5 years. Right? It's within 5 years. So the ablative of time within which is going to be plural, and the ablative of time when, singular. So we have time when, a point in time, time within which, a span of time within which an action will happen. Both of those ablative without preposition. And then we have the accusative of duration of time. That is, how long will it take for an action to take place? So, duas horas, for 2 hours. Right? I walked for 2 hours. Or I slept for 2 hours. Quinque annos, for 5 years. I worked for 5 years. Tres dies, for 3 days. So in English, we have to supply this preposition for, which in Latin you might think, maybe that's going to be the dative. But when we're dealing with time expressions, it's going to be the accusative. And again, I can't emphasize enough, no preposition. So look for these time expressions, these words that refer to time for these various time expressions. Now, closely allied to the accusative of duration of time is the accusative of extent of space. And time and space in the Latin mind are fairly closely united. So instead of walking duas horas for 2 hours, I might walk duos pedes, for 2 feet. Right? So this is going to be distance as opposed to time. Or quinque pedes, for 5 feet. Distance and notice they're constructed identically, no preposition. The only difference is that one expresses space, a distance, and the other expresses time. Perhaps the most common use of the extent of space is going to be when referring to Roman miles. But the way Romans express miles is a little complex, so we'll talk about that later.